Naoya Inoue, the monster, gave us another destructive performance at the Tokyo Dome to take his record to 27-0. No reverses, 24 inside distance. Undisputed super bantamweight champion. To go with all the other accolades that have been outlined many a time. Go look it up. I'm not even going to say it's a majority because it sure isn't, but there is a minority of American pundits, boxing fans and media who believe that unless Inoue, who's fought in America 3 times, fights in America, he can't qualify his greatness to them. We're talking about a man who packed in 55,000 into the Tokyo Dome on the 6th of May. What opponent and what venue are you going to pack out an arena or stadium to the tune of 55,000 if Inoue goes over to America? But that's the thing with the internet. A lot of people say things, but when you put the other maths that are very important to the discussion, they've got no clue. They have no answer. Now, Inoue's already fought in Scotland where he destroyed Emmanuel Rodriguez, another good fighter he took apart, who's never been done like that before and after. And the Japanese media have reported that offers went in from who but no other than Turki Al-Sheikh to bring Naoya Inoue to the United Kingdom. September. The dates are confusing. In the video, Joshua said any time between the 20th of September and the 25th of September. But they're saying either the 20th or the 21st. Inoue could be on the undercard to Anthony Joshua at Wembley, where Joshua will face off against one of 4 opponents from the June the 1st card in Riyadh. So we're talking who looks the best out of Hrgovic and Daniel Dubois for the vacant IBF belt. Who looks the best between Zhilei Zhang and Deontay Wilder? The other proposition that they haven't thrown in there out of respect to the current agreement that Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury have is that Wembley date could host Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua if both of them win their next 2 fights. Despite the rematch clause, despite any agreements, that's my opinion, to be honest. I can't be 100% sure on that, but I have a strong belief that's how it will go. And this is what I'm saying, like, hey, if America can produce the stadium, the guaranteed money to pay Inoue, that's no problem at all. Inoue took $3.8 million is what it says here for the destruction of Luis Nery. 3.8. And we're talking super bantamweights here, yeah? We're talking super bantamweights. The Saudis have put in an offer of $10 million for his next defense. That's an absolute huge purse. You would have to do the receipt research to tell me a super bantamweight who's ever got a $10 million purse from one fight. I don't think it's happened. And we're talking about a rejuvenated Anthony Joshua. That's a sellout gate. Whoever he's fighting, it's a sellout gate. America, in all honesty, can they really produce this type of event? Whether you want to say UFC is eating into that boxing demographic who would have normally bought pay-per-view or went to see the event live, regardless of what it is, they're not going to pay Inoue the type of money that the Saudis are going to pay Inoue to fight at Wembley. What fighter, American fighter, could headline and put Inoue on the undercard for a $10 million purse? Why don't somebody ask Bob Arum why he doesn't have Inoue fighting in America? Why doesn't someone ask Bob? Bob knows. Not that you need to ask Bob. Bob can't guarantee Inoue $3.8 million purses to fight in America against Luis Nery or anyone he's fought in his 27 fights at super bantamweight. It's not happening. He makes that kind of money in Japan. Japan don't need America. America might think that Japan need America, but they don't need them. He can make huge purses out there and even more on an Anthony Joshua undercard with the Sheikh bankrolling his purse. And don't get it twisted, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to knock down American boxing. There's some good things happening. Like Boots headlining at the Wells Fargo in Philly, Terence Crawford in Cali. These are fighters who the American boxing fan haven't been supporting. And if it wasn't for the likes of Eddie Hearn and the Saudi investment, a lot of these fighters would just be collecting dust, not really becoming the stars that they should or could be. Now, August the 3rd is by no means a foregone conclusion, right? But if Crawford can beat Madrimov, they're talking about this Canelo fight. And if Crawford can win that, we might finally have a legit American superstar. I know Tank's talking a lot of shit right now about he's got a better deal than Floyd, he's going to do this, and I've got this, and I'm this, and I'm going to fight Floyd. Dude, humble yourself. You're fighting Frank Martin when there was bigger fights you could have took. And that's not a diss to Frank Martin. He's a very credible challenger. But most of America would have preferred to see Tank fighting Shakur Stevenson or Lomachenko. But Tank doesn't deliver the fights that most of the world want to see. He just doesn't. And that's why he can say that he's the face of boxing. But it's not really true. Crawford could become a bona fide American boxing superstar if he could beat Canelo. And that would be against the odds for Crawford. Shakur Stevenson, 21-0-0, 10 inside the distance. Shakur is 26 years of age, the WBC World Lightweight Champion. He takes on the 33-year-old German fighter, Artem Harunian. 12-1-0, 7 inside the distance. He ran Frank Martin pretty close last year in a 12-rounder. Shakur said he's going to close the show, and he's taken it to heart, all the criticism he's got for the Edwin dos Santos performance. He wants to show the critics that his performance was impaired by his injured hand and that he's that dude. Now, this is a decent title defense, but no more than decent. I think he should have rematched Edwin dos Santos and really showed us what he's about. If he said the hand was injured, well, run it back and let's see what's up. 6th of June, Prudential Center, Newark, New Jersey.
Straight out of Jersey. You heard me.
Shakur's mentioned on social media that he will not be re-signing with Top Rank, free agent. We hear that a lot these days, don't we? We hear that an awful lot, more than any era of boxing previously. And why wouldn't a boxer want the option of being able to get the best deal for himself without the constraints of this contract, like a noose around their neck at times? Bob Arum don't seem to have got the memo though, and he's saying if Lomachenko beats KAMBOSOS, he's going to make the unification with Shakur Stevenson. But this might be an indicator of how old he's getting. Bob says here, if Loma wins, he will not only get a world title, he'll get another shot at another title. And he says, I have another fighter, Shakur Stevenson, with whom he can make the unification. He's saying everybody will be excited, 2 technicians, but Bob's getting on. Maybe he's just playing dumb. He knows Shakur said it, but he doesn't care. As far as he's concerned, he still has one more fight in his contract. Until then, he's still a top-ranked fighter. Well, all I can say is if he can get past this guy and look good, and with him being a free agent now, if Tank beats Frank Martin, there's no other side, this side of the street politics to stop that fight. Unification, WBA plays WBC, simple. So Shakur's not sticking around Top Rank to see if he can get the winner out of Lomachenko and KAMBOSOS for the vacant IBF belt. That's Saturday in Perth. But, you know, the way the game is going now, promoters can't really be like, well, if you're no longer signed with us, we're not going to work with you, because the free agent thing is going to limit their control of keeping fighters tied down to their promotional imprint for long-term contracts. They're going to have to work with free agents. Bob Arum recently said he's open to re-signing Terence Crawford or working with Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is currently a free agent. I don't know if he signed anything long-term with Turki Al-Sheikh. I haven't heard anything. Shakur is in his prime now. If he's a free agent and perhaps Tank is up for the fight, what's the better fight for Shakur? Lomachenko or Tank? Well, Tank sells a lot more box office than Lomachenko. And I don't want to bring it down to, oh, you took a loss so you're irrelevant. But at the same time, after Tio and Devin beat Loma, whether you think it was a disputed decision or not, beating Tank will probably help him establish himself as a superstar in the sport more than beating a 36-year-old Loma, in my opinion. I mean, what happened for Tio after he beat Loma? What happened for Devin after he beat Tio? They just became more hated. KAMBOSOS versus Lomachenko. For some reason, the cult of Lomachenko believe all his fights are going to be easy. And then when a lot of them become wars or actually defeats They're screaming blue murder, that Lomachenko was robbed, corruption. And I believe this fight in Australia is going to be tough. I don't know what it is, but fighters seem to struggle with that commute to Australia. And it shows in their ring performances. A lot of this, in my opinion, mirrors Pacquiao versus Jeff Horn. Although I'm tipping Lomachenko to win. He's 36 years of age. Kambosos is 30. Kambosos is the bigger fighter. If Kambosos gets a foothold in the fight and the Australian crowd is pouring it on, could be a long night for Lomachenko. But I'm still picking Lomachenko to win. But I expect it to be a difficult distance fight. That's what I'm expecting. So Virgil Hunter believes that Naoya Inoue should move up to 135 to fight Tank Davis. He cites Rigondeaux moving up to 130 to fight Lomachenko and Jamal Charlo moving up to 168 to fight Canelo. He said Inoue's getting up there in age, so putting on a couple of extra pounds shouldn't harm. And he said Davis shouldn't have to come down lower than 135. What is it Inoue needs that fight so badly for? Where was Virgil when Tank was putting rehydration clauses on Ryan and Barrios? When has Tank ever gave the world the fights they want to see? Why should anyone jump through hoops to accommodate Tank Davis? Why didn't Virgil Hunter insist that Andre Ward fight Chad Dawson at 175 rather than Chad having to sweat down to 168? If he's so adamant that Tank shouldn't have to lose weight to make the Inoue fight. Because he knew that Andre was going to have the advantage. Even though Chad came out and said he'll fight Andre at 168, which probably wasn't smart on Chad Dawson's behalf. But did they not take advantage of that situation? I mean, that was the first time Andre got any knockdowns in how many fights at world title level? How comes his charge didn't move up to cruiserweight to fight Tony Bellew and then up to heavyweight to fight Anthony Joshua like he keeps telling us he was going to do? Andre Ward. You want Inoue to move up 13 pounds to fight Tank? Well, let's get Tank to move up 12 pounds and fight Boots. Baltimore versus Philly. Let's go. Let's get it. Artur Beterbiev's meniscus injury has kind of thrown the light heavyweight division into a bit of a tailspin. And as a result, because they don't know when he's going to come back, they've ordered Anthony Yarde and Wbo Buatsi to fight for the interim title, the WBO interim title. 10 days to negotiate, or it goes to a purse bid, which will require a minimum bid of $300,000. Now, you have to wonder why the sanctioning bodies do things like this. Surely they heard recently that there's been a falling out between Anthony Yarde and Frank Warren. So it could be difficult to get both parties together. It's a shame though. I'm sure with some communication, they could get this done. One of them could get the interim title and eventually be called up as a mandatory to face either Bivol or Beterbiev, if that fight ever does happen. Can they resurrect this fight? I'm not sure if the incentive of an interim belt will be enough to get Tunde Anthony on side with Frank and sort the situation out. You would hope they could resolve it and get the fight done. It's definitely one of the most in-demand fights in this country. You would hope they could get it done. I'm not understanding where the lines of communication are broke down that bad. You either have the one fight on the contract or you don't. Frank must have it in writing what he has, and Anthony must have it in writing what he has. What's the confusion? I'm not getting it at all. What Boxer and Frank Warren and the two fighters don't want to happen is that not only can they not find a resolution in 10 days, but they blow off the purse bid and they have to order another 2 challengers and they're out of the picture, at least for that sanctioning body. They don't want that to happen. It can't be good. You would hope that Yarde could get his promotional situation sorted out ASAP, but as for Wbo Buatsi, what does he do? Does he wait in the hope that Frank and Anthony get it sorted? Or should he move on? I guess it's only 10 days before we get to the purse bid and we'll see if Frank entertains the purse bid. 10 days is not too long for Buatsi to wait before he moves on, I guess. But he's only had one fight 2022, one fight 2023, one fight this year, and he definitely needs to up his activity. Yarde himself, he needs to be a little more active, doesn't he? You know what I mean? So it's not a good situation for either man. And with that,
I'm gone. Ghost, peace, sayonara.